Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 58th episode of the PokéSells Official Podcast. We're back from a 1 week break. Been super busy with a bunch of schoolwork, and also just like February is a crazy month, so kind of just took a week off to work on other things. But we're back, and we are back with an amazing guest. Not Nashville, but well, kind of Nashville, a little, a little close. Or no, you're in Clarksville, right?
Yeah, I'm in Clarksville.
Yeah. So not Nashville, but around like an hour away. But
Yeah.
Tennessee native Patrick, also known as Pokemon Patrick on Instagram. I don't know if you have a TikTok. I don't have TikTok, but
No, I
Pokemon
just do
Patrick.
Instagram. I don't even do the Facebook or none of the other stuff.
Well, Pokemon Patrick on Instagram. And yeah, so just without further ado, if you can introduce yourselves if you could please introduce yourself for those at home, Patrick.
So I'm Pokemon Patrick. My name is actually Patrick. I actually did a thing on Instagram Live where I told people like my name's not actually Patrick, and I let it go on for like 6 months. And then one day I just told everybody like, yeah, my name is really Patrick. I was just joking. But it was funny because it was like Pokemon Patrick, because some people have pseudonyms and they use different names. So I was like, oh, let me just tell people my name's not really Patrick. And then they believed me. And then one day I had to go and tell everybody that it was actually Patrick. But yeah, I did 12 years in the military, active duty, 3 deployments. I'm from Texas. And yeah, I just do Pokemon full time now that I'm out.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for your service, by the way. And Texas is a wonderful place. I have my dad's side of the family is Tex-Mex, so Mexican American, but Texas.
Yeah, so I'll be there next week for Collecticon too. So
yes. So yeah, how I don't know if we met originally. Like I know I think formally. I don't remember how we met originally. I know, obviously, we know a lot of the same people. It's like a closer community here in Tennessee, I feel like. So it's like easy to know everyone.
yeah,
One of the previous guests that we had was Music City Games. I know he's a good friend. He mentioned you in our podcast. I was like, it's probably a good idea to have.
now I got to go watch the episode.
Yeah, with Jonathan. It was great. And it was, I don't know, it's just always cool to get new faces. I know you do work with Zion, and obviously Zion's a really big case. My case is Zion. A lot of stuff is Zion.
I got like 30 cases.
Yeah, but it's always just a good thing. But we'll just, I guess, the baseline question is always like, why and like when did you get into Pokemon cards?
So I got into Pokemon like I'd say 2016. My friends were playing Pokemon at work, and I was like, "What are you guys doing? You guys are losers! Like that's Pokemon! Like what are you?" But he was actually playing the game, and I was like, "Bro, you're a nerd! Like you're tripping." And he's like, "No, bro, it's actually pretty fun." So then it was like, I'm gonna learn how to do this so I could make fun of them. So I learned how to play. So then when they made mistakes, I could kind of be like, "Man, why would you do that? That's dumb." And then that way we'd play when we had time at work. You know, the Army, if we got downtime, you try to make the best of it. So I went to the card shop. We bought an Ultra Prism booster box, which was the newest set. And then I opened it and I pulled the Cynthia full art. And the shop owner was like, "Oh my God, you pulled the Chase," which is crazy because it wasn't the Lily. But it was like the Cynthia was super playable. And he was like, "Oh my God, I'll buy that from you right now." And I was like, "No, man, I just pulled this. Calm down." And he was like, "This is the card you want. This is the one everybody wants." And I was like, "Dang, how much is it worth?" And he's like, $100. And I was like, "Dang, I'm up." So I was like, "Dang." So then I started collecting and buying boxes and stuff like that. And then I play the actual game. So every time I bought a box, I'd keep a box. And then I'd open it and then keep one sealed. Just because I was actually playing the game. I was like, oh, if I'm going to spend the money, I might as well just keep one just because. And that's how I started. And then I started playing, went to regionals, went to worlds, and then, the Army dictates where I go. So then I moved and couldn't go to as many regional deployments and stuff like that. So kind of spaced it out, but that's how I got started, is from my coworker.
Awesome. That's really cool. And I didn't know that. That's great. My brother and myself, before we played Pokemon before we got into like selling and stuff, or at least when I got into selling, he kind of teetered off. But we used to play a lot. Obviously not like at that crazy like regional or any level. We never like chase worlds, but we'd always build the meta decks and like go against each other and stuff like that. And it was always super fun. But that's super cool. What deck did you play? And I assume you still play. I don't know if you do still.
So
but...
I was playing Glaceon with Weavile. That was like my first deck. Glaceon GX. It was just a great deck. But now I'm doing the Honchkrow, the Team Rockets Honchkrow. It's a single prize deck.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to hit them 6 times to win the game. So, and it hits pretty hard. And then you pair it with Porygon too. And then it hits for every Team Rocket supporter in the discard pile. So they kind of go together with attacking.
Cool. That's nice. That's really cool. Yeah, I don't remember. I played like Mew VMAX and like my first deck was like Malamar, like those types of stuff. I always like Graveyard Synergy.
Oh, Malamar was good, yeah.
Yeah, I like those types. I play a lot more Magic the Gathering now is what I play. And then Pokemon's kind of like the business, and then Magic the Gathering is kind of like what I play.
Yeah, but I tell anybody who sells Pokemon, you have to be educated in the play of the game, because you'll be able to dictate like, oh, market's coming out, or what the market price is going to be for cards coming out. Like, oh, this card's playable. You have to be knowledgeable in like rotation as well. Like certain EXs are going to drop from even being $5 to $10 to being $1 because now they're not playable anymore. No one wants them. And then they'll go down, but then eventually they'll go back up long term. But like Pheasantipity EX and stuff like that, like it's in every deck. It's in the rotation. But you got like Charizard EX, which isn't going to be in rotation in April. So people that sell cards, like you have to have the basic knowledge of the TCG game to kind of help you with your lower end cards. And then same with like trainers that are $9 right now, the PokéPad. And people are like, why is it $9? I don't care. It's $9. I'm going to put it in the binder. It's like, but you're only doing that because someone told you. But if you were educated, you would have had 20 of them when people were like, yeah, you could take my hits. I don't care. And that's what I do. I'll be like, oh, you don't want your bulk? I'll take it. Because some of even the cards with abilities are like $3 to $4. So I think being educated in whatever you're doing, not just, oh, I know the market price, but being able to forecast like trends and what's playable and what's going out of rotation and stuff is important too.
Yeah, exactly. And I do a lot of TCG players, so that's a way that we function into it. And it's really cool. Obviously, like I was actually funny you brought up PokéPads. I was actually about to bring that up. I was like, oh yeah, it's just like a basic, trainer, and it's going for like, you said like $9 or something like that. I was like, oh yeah,
it's just one of those cards that's
crazy.
When trainers or Pokemon add to either your draw support or your ability to search at no cost, like just search for any Pokemon, it's like every deck has 4 of those in their deck. So everybody who plays competitive, you got to think regionals is 800 people. So all of them are going to have 4 of those in every single deck. So the market's going to be harder to get them. So the price has to go up, and it's not going anywhere until it's reprinted in like 2 or 3 sets.
Exactly. So there's definitely a lot of mechanics, and like especially like the layers to like selling, when you're like picking up stuff or whatever it is. Like there's like a million ways to take, running a Pokemon business or selling or whatever you're flipping, whatever you want to call it. I feel like, there's like traditional vending, there's like online vending, whatnot, TCG player, whatever, wholesale. There's a billion different ways to do a billion different things. And I'm sure that you obviously have seen that. And even like, for example, like with Zion and stuff, which we can talk about now or later, whatever, it's like they don't specifically sell cards. They sell a tool for vendors to be able to present their cards in a better way for other consumers.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. But yeah, so that's really cool on the Pokemon story. And then I guess, how did you start selling Pokemon? I know you do kind of more like sealed and like that type of thing and binders and stuff like that. But what like kind of got you into that area of Pokemon?
So I was just collecting really because I was playing super competitive. I was going to regionals, cups, challenges, and stuff like that. And an opportunity came up for me to buy a house, and I had all the sealed stuff. I mean, if you go back to my Instagram, you can see like I've had cases of Cosmic, cases of Team Up, Unbroken Bonds, one of every booster box with ETB bundles, and it's opportunity. But back then I think I sold it for like 30,000, 50,000 to buy my first house, which is probably crazy because now it's probably like 200,000 now. But I tell people hindsight's 2020. Like Pokemon could have stayed where it was and nothing could have happened. COVID wouldn't have happened, and it probably wouldn't have jumped off. So I knew I put less money in there than that. So I sold it to someone, and I was like, dang, I just bought a house off Pokemon. Like, let me keep stockpiling cards and singles. And then I was already collecting the singles. I had master sets from like base, jungle, fossil, everything except for crystals and shinings. And I did all the sets, all the Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Call of Legends. And then I ended up selling that as well when I moved into my house in 2020 to my friend Card Caravan. I literally sold him every single card all the way up to Sun and Moon and the beginning of Sword and Shield. So every single card that was out in Pokemon, all the holos, he took every single card, everything. It was crazy. It was a crazy deal. And we had to break it up in payments because it was a pretty big deal. I think it was like 40 grand. But it was every single card.
It's crazy.
So it was like a complete master set of the Pokédex. But it was fun. But then I was going to card shows, and I go and I'd be like, I have every card. Like, there's no Alt Art, there's no Shiny, there's no Heart Gold Soul Silver card that I didn't have. And I was like, okay, I got to sell these, or I'm never. And then one of my mentors, Crave Collectibles, told me, he's like, if you're going to run a business, you can't have a personal collection. There's no such thing. He's like, everything's for sale. You got to put the money back in the business somehow. And then I was like, yeah, I got to sell these cards. And then it became like a rotating door. Like, okay, I'll buy some stuff, hold it, wait for it to go up, and then sell it again.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome, and that's really cool. So you kind of had like the master set of master sets in a way, where you kind of like just had.
Yeah, I didn't have like first edition and shadowless and all the crazy like errors and stuff like that. I just had like all of Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon, XY. I had all the promos. I had every set mastered, commons, uncommons, which is funny. I go downstairs and I still have the binders with all the common, uncommon, non-holo rares, just still in the binders for no reason. Just because I was like, what am I going to do with these? So
that's funny.
Yeah,
that's really cool. No, that's really cool. But yeah, I that's like one thing that we haven't touched on is master sets. Like I've bought like a 151 master set, but that was kind of about it. But no, I like kind of what you said. I remember it was like what, last Wilson County, like 2 Wilson counties ago. You just had like that mega binder, like full of like a whole bunch, like literally, like you said, like almost every single card like someone could think of was just like in that binder.
Oh yeah,
and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that binder is going to be the standard. Like, it's easy to transport. You like, I set it on the table. I open it up. I don't have to like put cards in the display case. Like, it's just it's so much faster. I mean, you can have a separate display case for like $100 and up, but for that binder, it's easier than a 12 pocket binder.
And what type of binder was it?
It's a 6x6, so it holds 36 on each side, so 72 total. And like your average case at a show is doing like 80 cards to maybe 50 cards. And then that's if they're not smushing them together. So you can see, so to be able to look at 72 cards on one page and then turn it, and you got a new set of 72, that's the same as turning a 12 pocket binder 8 times. So they stay there longer and they're more engaged because they're looking at more cards. So they're more likely to spend more money the longer you can keep them there.
That's smart. I never thought about that. That's true. We kind of just have like one like a binder at our table, but that's really cool.
And some people just like looking at the binder for the binder. Like, and then they'll get down, and I have it in price order. So I put it in price order as well, because once they go, they see the good stuff. They turn the page like, oh, it's getting cheaper. And then most people are spending less than $100 at shows for like their collection or master set. So when they get closer to the end, they're like, man, I've already been here for 5 minutes. Let me buy 1 or 2 cards that I need. So even if they're buying a $5 to $10 card, they've already been standing there. So by the time they get to the back of the binder, it's the cheaper stuff. And for them, they're like, oh, I need that card. Let me buy it because I've already been here this whole time.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. So there's a lot of like psychology into it. I like that. That's really cool. One of my, in Atlanta when we went earlier last month, my friend Steven kind of told me some stuff about that too. I was like, oh, it's really interesting. Like how he like stickers his cards. Like he puts, I think, like the left-hand sign because like the eye goes like left to right. Like he was just telling me some like interesting things. And kind of like how, so now on our price gun, where's my
because I put stickers on the upper left-hand corner because everybody reads from left to right. Mm-hmm. So naturally your eye is going to look to the left anyway.
Yeah. And like the whole thing where we'll put like, for example, like 40, like we'll put 149.99 and it's like 150 because like in the buyer set it's closer to 140 than 150. It was like all this like crazy stuff that I was like, I would like, I personally would have never thought about that. But when he explained it, I'm like, yeah, that does honestly make a lot more sense.
Yeah. I mean, grocery stores do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they put the generic stuff at eye level and then the more expensive stuff's up higher.
Mm-hmm. So it's just, yeah, there's so much like nuance, I guess you could say, or like not mind games, but like psychology that you can put into it, which I think is like really, really cool. But I think that's smart. And like you said, like that's why I like doing these podcasts. I learn something new every time I'm doing something.
I tell people like alphabetical order is great if you have like 2,000, 3,000 cards, right? Like especially for Magic, alphabetical order is important because there's so many cards in Magic. Mm-hmm. But when you got Pokemon, people want to just look at the artwork sometimes. Like they don't care about playability or like the high-end cards because if it's a high-end card, they know exactly what they want. And someone who's spending over $100 is like, I want the best $100 card. But for everything else, you put it in price order. So when someone's looking at your cards, and they're like, dang, I only got like $20 left. It's easier for a kid or a parent to say, hey, Jimmy, you got $20. Everything from this row to this row, you can get any card you want. To a kid, to see a section and be like, I could take anything from here. It's easier for them to make that sell than if you got a $20 card, a $10 card, and they're plotted all over. Yeah. It's hard on the eyes. It's hard to like focus on like picking multiple cards and then doing the math. So then most people just like, oh, dang, that looks chaotic. And they get anxiety. They're like, what am I looking at?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I'll have to tell Max that since he runs our binders.
It works for trading too. So like when you're like, hey, I'll give you $250 in trade credit. It's easier for someone to be like, oh, cool. Look, here's the $250 cards. I could take 1 or 2 of these, or I could take $200 cards. And then it makes it easier for them. And they're more willing to trade because it's already organized in that manner for them to look. But if they're just looking at a map and it's cards all over the place, different prices, they're going to be like, I'll just take the money.
Yeah. No, that's it. It's cool. Like I said, I really like that. I never thought about that. I would have never even that would have never crossed my mind. But hey, that's what you do. You always learn, always learning. And binders, I think, for especially like the local shows, binders are really good. I love. I kind of wish we did. Well, like I wish we did more binders. But we buy a lot of low end stuff to offload online, so it's kind of harder for us to keep like a binder inventory and then an online inventory when we know we can like flip our online inventory relatively, fast, and then a binder just sits there for like week to week to week, and then when it's empty, it's empty. But I think like especially in the local show scene here, like if you're going to a lighthouse or something, binders definitely are always good to have, just because like you said too, it's kind of that ease of mind. Or if it's like a little kid's coming through, they only got like $10, you could be like, oh, here's like our dollar page, or like you said, like from here to here is $10 and under, you can choose one card, or whatever it works out to be, can help and be very beneficial for both the vendor and the buyer, something I love to always do is if we buy like a thick thing of like for a TCG player, girl comes by or a little boy walks by, like just give them like a little free dollar card or something. It always just like makes the day of either the parent or the son. And then hopefully, they're like, oh wow, thank you for giving us this, $5 card. Let's see what other cards you have, and then they end up making like a $20 purchase or something like that. It's always good. So I don't know. So definitely really cool. And I think that's binders are like something that we've recently like considered having a lot more of, because I think they just generate more of like a collector's atmosphere, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, I mean, exclusive drop for you, I guess, for your podcast. I don't know when you're gonna post it, but so Zion's coming out with binders, and we have 48 different colors. Yeah, so the colors will actually correlate to the case. So, like, if you have like the carbon fiber case, we have a carbon fiber binder to match that case. So your binder will aesthetically match with whatever you have.
That's cool. Yeah, this podcast will. Sorry.
Oh no, those come out next week, I think. I'll probably have them in Houston. I'll have them in Dallas for sure. And then we'll be selling them at the shows as well now.
That's awesome. They will definitely. This podcast will probably come out like tomorrow or Friday or something. So I usually have quick turnaround times. But that's really cool. That's awesome. I think that's awesome. Transitioning that, like how obviously you work with Zion, which is like one of the biggest, I guess, like case companies for Pokemon vendors in the world, or in the US, I would assume. How did that happen?
So I did logistics in the military with a special operations unit. So I went from first group to fifth group. So I was always doing like helping with contracts and anything logistical. When it came to budget and financing, meeting vendors and talking business, trying to get the lowest price and buying stuff. So that when I was helping Zion one day at the end of a show pick up cases, then the next show I helped him again. And he kind of just asking me about my background and what I did in the military. And he's like, oh, that's cool. And then last year I was getting out and he's like, oh, when you get out, I'll give you a full-time job. So he's like, I don't even want you to look nowhere else. I don't want you to work for nobody else. I'll just hire you full time. You go to all the shows. And that was it. It was that simple. So we just talked shop and he just asked me what I did. And he saw my networking skills and capabilities and was like, oh yeah, I want that on my team. And then offered me a job and it stuck. And I've been there for like 2 years now.
Nice. That's awesome. And obviously I know Zion's a great company. Our cases Zion, or not our roller Zion, I don't have any Zion like display cases, but it's it's fine. There's that's really cool about you said like so like government contracting stuff for the military.
Yeah, so like when we deploy, there's contractors that write contracts, government contracts to be like, oh, we need to spend this much money to do 1, 2, 3 things. So my job was like, oh, hey, we need to buy this type of equipment. So I would work with vendors to be like, hey, I need this type of equipment, like Gerber, Tactical Tailor, like getting rucksacks or getting certain types of knives, walkie-talkies, reaching out to Polaris for the new razors, getting tires and stuff like that, laptops. So I got to test out and talk to different vendors and companies. And I was always one of the people that was like, I'm just going to call the top person. Whoever answers, I'm going to talk to them. And then my favorite thing to do would be like, oh, can I talk to your boss? And then when that person gets on the phone, I'll be like, can I talk to your boss? They're like, oh, no, I am the boss. I was like, yeah, but who's your boss? So it was super direct. And I always just try to get stuff done. And it was a great career and everything. And and it just transferred well to like the case companies. Not the same, but it's like you're dealing with people all day. You have different vendors, different people, different personalities. So you got to be able to manage that, budget that. I'm horrible with names is my worst quality. Like people be like, what's up, Patrick? 50 times a day. And I'm like, God, I don't remember their name. Or they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm so-and-so from Instagram. And I'm like, I can't put a face on that.
Yeah. No.
And that's the worst part.
Yeah. Myself and Max both suffer on that. Which is, it's funny because, like we're dealing with people all day and it's like you have the same guy come by your booth a billion times and it's like, I forgot your name. I'm sorry. That's really cool. A little side note for me, I actually looked into doing like not government contracting work, but kind of like being like the contractor or supplier, whatever it's called, before doing Pokemon. That was something that I was always fascinated with. So that's
Yeah,
really
it's
cool.
great. Like I loved it. I would have done it for 20 years.
Mhm.
But
That's really cool.
now I'm fully retired. I don't got to work. I get disability money. It's a great life. So
that's awesome.
I get paid whether I wake up and go do something or I just sit at home for the day.
Yeah. Or buy Pokemon cards or do something, whatever you're
that's
doing.
The fun part.
Yeah. So obviously I know you do a lot of sealed now and everything. What is your not collection, but like what are you kind of picking up now? I know you recently picked up a bunch of Ascended Heroes and stuff like that. But when a new set's dropping, are you trying to pick up as much of that? Are you making rounds, going to different stores, buying like other things? Like how are you using and like do you network with different people? But how do you acquire your Pokemon inventory now?
I mean, there's multiple ways. So like when I go to Walmart, like I've built like a community. Like one, it's a military town, so like a lot of the military spouses and or soldiers were like, "Man, how do you go all the time?" I'm like, "Look, bro, I'm out now." Like even when I was in, my bosses were cool and like, "Hey, man, you can go. I don't care." And so I just reached out to them like, "Hey, this is when the drops are. This is now that I'm retired, I can sit at Walmart for 4 or 5 hours and wait for them." But like the guy restocks Wednesdays and Thursdays. So I'll go sit at one Walmart. My other friend will sit at one. And then our other friend sits at the other. And then whenever they show up, then we go to that Walmart. And then so on and so forth. And then we do the same thing. And then next Walmart. And then we split everything up or like, because the limit's 5 per item. So like if so-and-so wants the ETBs, but I want the sticker packs, I'll still buy the sticker packs so I can trade them for the ETBs or whatever. So we kind of worked together, and there is some people that are there for themselves. And I've always sold, like, if I get like an excess amount from Walmart, I don't mind sharing it. Typically, I don't share it or sell it to people that I don't know or that are like, "Oh, hey, man, I want to buy that for $55. I'm like, "I've never messaged you before in my life. Like, you're only reaching out to me because there's a benefit to it for you." So all those people, and same when I do giveaways, I'm not going to give something away just because you clicked a button and you never interacted. Like, it's for people who are actually supporting, people who message me even randomly to say, "Hey, how are you doing? What's up, man? Good shit." Whatever it is that they're like, anything encouraging or anything interactive, even if they just comment on all my posts, I see that, and that transfers to me as support and or interaction. And then those are the people that, like, if they're like, "Hey, I can't get a box," then I'll send them one. But if some people are like, "Oh, I can't get none," I was like, "Bro, I just saw you open 3 ETBs 2 days ago on your profile. Like, I'm not giving you a box." But for my friends, like, they know they can hit me up and be like, "Hey, I want some stuff," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." So
yeah, that's really cool. Kind of like working together and, like you said, like networking. And that's definitely something that I've learned for sure. Like over everything is like networking is like one of the most powerful things, obviously in any industry, but also in Pokemon specifically too. For example, like I know someone who can buy vintage, or I know someone that sources this or this, and like just being able to have that flexibility. And so whenever that person comes to your booth or someone hits you up for a deal or whatever, it's like, "Hey, can you take this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool, I can," because I know someone that can offload whatever too. And I'm sure I know you mentioned that multiple times, but I think that networking is definitely super, super important in any industry that you're in, especially Pokemon too. And I'm sure going to like Collecticon and meeting all these people, like obviously I know you've built like a good following on Instagram, but doing all those types of things like definitely like will help you in any way that you're doing, or whatever you're doing. So that was really cool.
Yeah, and I feel like when I go to shows, I see people, they talk to the same people. And I think people network people are networking incorrectly. Like, I'm from the military side of like working and networking and building relationships. So I guess it's tactically I'm doing it differently, but most people are like, oh, hey, Patrick, can you give me ETB? And to them, if I give them the ETB, that means now we can be friends because I did something for them. But then it's reciprocal, like, oh, now I got to do something for you. And that's not how friendships are built.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like all the people I interact with, if I was like, hey, can I borrow $100? Hey, can I take this slab over there? People are like, cool, yeah, take it. Here's the money. They don't care what it's for. And I've just built those relationships with people to be able to do that. And I feel like some people, I see them at shows, they're with the same people every time. All their videos are the same people. All their posts are the same people. And I get it, like you have your group of friends, but it's like you're not meeting anybody else new. Mm-hmm. And then the only time you meet someone new is if they are giving you something or able to get you access to something else. Mm-hmm. And I see it all the time, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah. Or people be like, oh man, can I get a case? And I'd be like, hey, do you know what my real name is? And they'd be like, is it Patrick? I was like, that's my Instagram name. Do you know my real name? And they're like, oh, actually, I don't. And then I'm like, why are you asking me for a favor? You don't even know my name. But it is Patrick, but I'm just like, the fact that you're not confident to say, your name is Patrick. I know your name's Patrick. You told me. It's like, why would I go out of my way to help you and then you're never going to talk to me again?
Yeah, for sure. And that's definitely something that I've also like noticed too. And it's funny that you say like the same group of people, like that's a main reason why I started doing this podcast, was kind of like to push me out of my comfort zone and like to just meet new people. Like, for example, there's been multiple times where I've hopped on a podcast with someone I didn't even know. You know, we planned it like a week before and it just happens. And then I get to meet them and now I have like a great friend, you know, and it's because it was just like, yo, you want to hop on the podcast, make some free content together, you know, help both of us out. It'll be chill. We'll have a good time. We'll have a good conversation and, you know, for an hour or whatever. And then when I see him on my show, it's like, yo, whatever. You're like, now it's like it's kind of like the icebreaker. Sure. Like, and then, you know, you can conduct business or whatever it is, have fun. But I agree with what you're saying, that there's a lot of like, it's not like, I guess using in a way, but like kind of like people just taking advantage of certain situations. I think that's obviously like, we've seen that a lot now, especially with a lot more of like the thefts and robberies and stuff where people are taking advantage of the money that's in the space. And I feel like, you know, where there's a lot of money in the space, people can definitely like start to get greedy or, like you said, like be selfish and not like really focus on that original human connection that kind of just like connects all of us. Yeah. And I think that's like something that is important to have and that we're definitely like is not shared as much, I guess. But I know you've been exposed. I mean, Atlanta, there was a big robbery. I don't know if there was any in Florida. I know there's been a bunch of like thefts and stuff like that all over the place. It's scary in the way where it's like, don't show your address, don't show anything, you know, because you don't know who's going to see it or what's going to happen.
Yeah, I tell people about like theft, like not being scared to like have your address and stuff. Like, it's all public information. So people could look it up if they really wanted to, especially if you're LLC, they could look up the LLC name, who's it under, who's the owner, and like get all your information that way. Still, the thing I tell people is like, I see a lot of people that I don't deem physically fit enough to defend themselves from two grown men attacking them, men and women included. Like, if two grown men attacked me, I would like to believe I could defend myself against one, but most of us can't defend ourselves from two grown men physically fit attacking us. So like, when people are like, oh yeah, I got 20,000 in cash, it's like, my dad was saying like, hey, post your cash deals after the transaction's already done. Like, you got the cash, go do the deal, come home, and then post your picture. Don't post like in transition or before, because that's when you become a target. And I think people are opportunist theft. Like, I don't believe that the 99% of people that steal at Collecticon go there with the intent to steal. I believe that's, oh man, that money's still there. No one's looking. I can get that money. Or, hey, this card's here. I want this card. It's right there. I'm just going to take it. No one's watching me. And I think people don't want to say that, but I just think most crimes of passion with domestic violence, like a spouse on spouse, is like passion. So it's like no one's like, oh yeah, when I go home today, I'm gonna beat my partner. It's like it's an opportunity. Like, oh, they stressed me out. I was drunk or this. And I think people do things just because it presents itself, not because they're planning to be malicious. And I think that's where we got to, in the community, have awareness. Like going to the show and putting $50,000 in your display case in cash is like, man, some of you guys are walking to your car by yourself. And like, or if you just have $100,000 binder and all your cards are in there, it's like, I take your binder, I take your Zion case, and all your cards are gone.
Yeah.
So I just think it's like people are opportunists. So I don't really get worried about theft. I have my cards insured, and I tell everybody, get insurance. If you do any shows, you have any collection over $1,000, pay the $20, $30. I pay $40 from USAA, and it gives me $450,000 in insurance. Oh. That covers my collection in the house, my transportation, anything like that on my personal property or collection. So to me, peace of mind, like my binder gets stolen, I'm like, dang, I got to file a police report. I got to go get this money. And then that's it. I don't have to worry about it. And I think people forget that part. Like no one drives without insurance. You drive recklessly or carelessly because you know you have insurance.
Yeah, for sure.
But people forget that in the space.
Yeah, no, that's definitely interesting. And yeah, and I know especially there's a lot of like, obviously, I don't want to say like flex culture in this space, but like a lot of people, like you said, like just have like 50 grand in a case, or like they'll have 100,000 in a case. It's just like buying everything or whatever it is. And it's like, it kind of screams at you like, just rob me, or whatever it is. But it's definitely, I actually never thought about insurance. That's actually really cool. You can insure them as assets. What can you, what is it function under?
So mine's personal property and collection. So it's personal property when you take it out of the house, because your collection is supposed to be at a stationary location. So like if you have like vintage baseballs and sports memorabilia, it's, hey, your collection is in one location, but you can call and be like, hey, I'm going to this show. I'm taking 50,000 in inventory. Here's an itemized list. And I have USAA, so it's different for me. Like I could take a picture of every page in my binder, be like, this is what I took to the show. It's time stamped. And then say someone steals my whole binder, then I can send those pictures to the police, and then USAA will compensate me because that's what I had. And I have proof that I was in possession of those items. So I tell everybody, even if you take, $10,000 or $50,000 insurance policy out on your collection, like if someone stole your whole binder, you're like, dang man, I was 30,000, and you could at least get 10 back. That's better than nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
So I tell people it costs you $20, $30 a month. That's an ETB at best. So if that doesn't give people peace of mind, then get robbed, and then they're mad, and I'm never collecting again. It's like, but you didn't protect yourself or your finances. So
yeah, no, it's for sure. I think that's smart, and that's something that I'll probably consider doing now. And I know that obviously with you being like all talking about like the thefts and stuff got me thinking about like what happened in like Atlanta with someone that we know. Won't disclose any of the information because that's their private information. But have you, like in the position that you are, kind of like networking, like know all these types of people, have you kind of found yourself as one of like the go-to people? It's like, hey Patrick, whatever, like $10,000 of my stuff was just taken. How can I do, like, how, like, can you help me like figure out how to get this back? Like, how has your positioning in that space kind of being like, I guess, like a middleman in a way, in some ways?
I don't think it's me exactly having a status or being at some sort of level. I think it's the networking is like, I know who to call or who to ask to do the next step because they're going to be the ones actioning something. In that situation, I had bought a slab. My friend was holding it while I picked up the Zion cases. Then their case got stolen. And so I was technically involved. But if I filed a police report, then I'm filing it against my friend because I gave him the card. He was in possession of my property, but then his whole property got stolen. So it's like, I'm not going to write a police report on my friend. I'm just going to file insurance once he's done with the police report because I got the serial number for the slab and everything. And then luckily, Collecticon, I told them what happened, and they're like, shut the ramp down. We're going to look for this card, this case, and then they took me back to security, and then we found out who it was. I reached out to a couple of my friends that were vendors, and that's again networking. And I said, hey guys, I need to know who this person is. I sent them a picture. I was like, I need his phone number. Whoever got it, send it to me. And they sent it to me. And I said, hey, can none of you guys post this till this is out? And luckily, like, I know everybody wants clicks and everybody be like, I want the video of the $50,000 card stolen. But I was like, you want it for clicks and videos and to get your viewership up, and because people like drama. And so I think it represented my community and my friends by saying, hey, look, you guys know who this is. You guys seen the picture. You seen the video. I'm asking you not to post it or to say anything. And for none of them to do that, because no one's seen the security footage of the theft that's out there, because my community chose not to do that. So I think building a community and having trust in the people you're around weighs heavy. So when I was able to reach out and I found the person pretty quick because of my networking, I don't think it had anything to do with like a status or anything like that. I think it just came down to like, hey, I know Patrick. He's a good guy. I like him. I'm going to help him the best way I can. And it just waterfalled down to getting a result done.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's cool. And that's, it was a crazy story. I remember hearing it. I was like, wow, that's wild. I think that was one of the first messages I personally messaged you on Instagram. I was like, yeah, there's some wild stuff that's happening. And because I was there and I was like, oh no, I need to make sure everyone's okay. Obviously it's not my responsibility, but like just gotta make sure my friends are fine. Mentally. But that's cool. And like kind of like you said, like the more you know people, the more, because like for example, let's take your previous example where you're like, oh, these people only stick with like the same 3 group of people. Like let's say that happens to them and they don't know anyone else but the group of people that they were with. What are you gonna do? And it's kind of like if you position yourself, where it's like, hey, I know all these types of people. I know people are gonna help. Obviously, we got to the bottom of it, etc. It's going to be easier and better, I guess, in a way, to be able to get to the point where you hopefully the issue resolves and everything is hopefully better than it was previously.
Yeah, and I think that translates to the number one problem everybody has is getting tables at Collecticon. And I tell everybody, I was like, you can't complain about not being able to get tables if you don't go to meet the people that actually have the tables. Like you're like, oh, I'm not going if I don't get a table. And I was like, but you're counting on your community to then supply you the tables, but that community doesn't have tables either. So you have to go meet the people and build relationships with people that have tables to then have a network of people like, hey man, how'd you get a table? Can you help me get a table? But people would prefer to just sit at home and be like, oh, I'm not going because I can't get a table. But you're not doing anything to try to get one either.
Yeah.
You're counting for the same network of people that don't have tables.
Yeah, for sure. And that's 100% valid. And it's kind of like they're what's the saying? Well, it's not like kind of being a couch potato, but I forgot what it's called. It's like sleep money don't make no money or something like that, or still money, something along those lines. But like it being like, if you actually want to if you actually want to do something, you got to like get up and go for it, type thing. Or it's like if you're just like you said, just sitting on your couch complaining like, oh, I didn't go to Collecticon. Here's my 20 billion reels on why this is screwed up and Collecticon should make more tables or whatever, or they should anti-bot their website or whatever the spiel is. It's that could all be solved if you just like met people. And for me personally, I know most of the tables that I've had at Collecticon have been through other people. Like I've never gone on the website and ordered, but it was or I've tried, right? And then that doesn't happen. And I'm like, oh, hey, who can I go with? Maybe I know people that know other, like you said, like know someone who knows someone in a type of way, where that kind of gets brokered. And it's like, oh, wow, I know these people who can help me, and maybe their friend decide to dip or whatever it might be.
Yeah, but then it's also not saying you've done this, but people have bought tables secondhand, even if they're buying them for cost. Like Collecticon's policy is not to resell tables. Mm-hmm. It doesn't say not resell for a profit. It says do not resell your tables, period. And I feel like people are so scared to be like, oh man, this person. But it's like you're buying a table, but you're contributing to the problem on why it's harder for you to get a table. Because if other people are like, oh, I can buy tables and then resell them for even $50 more, then for them it's like, okay, but the next person is going to be like, I'll pay the $50 so I can get a table at Collecticon. But if someone's like, hey, guess what? This guy's selling tables. He's not supposed to do it, which is public knowledge. Everybody knows they're not supposed to. Even if they're selling it for cost, you're supposed to say, hey, Collecticon, I can't go. They put it back on the website so other people can then buy them, or they're available for people that are on a waiting list. So people are like, oh, I'm not going to snitch. It's like, so you don't want to do the right thing, but you're going to complain that the tables are impossible to get.
Yeah.
So it's like a catch-22. Like, which one do you want? You want to be able to get tables, but then when people are selling them, you don't want to raise your hand and say anything.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, like a cycle.
Yeah, people are contributing to the problem, but then they're complaining about the problem that they're actually contributing to. So it's like, oh, well, I'm buying the table, but it's still hard. It's like, well, then why don't you tell on the person you're buying them from? And guess what? Then you could buy those tables from Collecticon. So, and then guess what those people are going to stop doing? They're going to be like, man, if I'm not going, I'm not going to buy the tables because I want to still be able to attend the shows in the future. I don't want to get banned from Collecticon. Mm-hmm. So it's like, are you going to do the right thing or are you going to contribute to the problem?
Yeah, it's complicated. And I feel like it's definitely a side effect of like how it, Pokemon has like skyrocketed into this kind of like transcendent position, like opposed from like all the rest of the world. Like it's like this weird place where it's like it shouldn't work, but it is working. Like it was funny. I saw in the national Facebook group today, someone was reselling one of the Lego sets, the new Pokemon Lego sets, and literally all the comments were like, "Bro, we did like it only took us like 30 seconds to figure out that you're like overcharging or whatever it might be." Like but like you said, there's going to be someone that's like, oh wow, it's Pokemon, it's someone's pricing it expensive, it must be real, whatever it might be. And
I tell people you can't get mad at someone reselling. Like Walmart resells, Target, Goodwill gets their stuff for free and they resell it for even $1 more. Like the world is built on buying and selling. Mm-hmm. Like people are reselling rocks. Like, yeah, they're gems, they're polished up, but like crystals but it's like, bro, people are selling rocks. People are growing plants in their backyard and then taking them to plant shows. I don't know if you went to the Houston Collecticon last year. There was a quilt festival next door. Some old lady or young man, old man are knitting quilts and selling them for $25,000 and $50,000. and it's like the material costs $10.
Yeah.
So it's like people get mad that people are reselling and doing all this other stuff, and it's like you buy from resellers. You buy your car from a reseller. You buy your house. Like everything's a markup.
Mm-hmm.
So who cares if someone bought a Lego set? Because I tell the same thing when I posted about Pokemon Center ETBs. Y'all bought 2 ETBs and then we're selling them for $300. Not you, people. But like you bought 2 ETBs and then you're posting them on Instagram or Facebook for $250. You just bought it for $60. And one guy was like, "Oh, well, I kept one sealed for me." Okay, so why don't you sell? So why didn't you only buy one? Because you bought 2 to make a profit so you could collect for free.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that not become a scalper? And it was funny because I posted it just trolling, and people were like, "That's not scalping." I was like, you bought something. As soon as it hit your door, you sold it for an obscene markup, but now it's not scalping. But if someone goes to Walmart and does the same thing, they're scalping. You could have just bought one ETB on Pokemon Center and left more available for other people.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. I was just trolling. I didn't care.
No.
We use the word scalping for anybody that resells anything. But it's like, don't shop at Goodwill. Don't shop at Target. Don't go to Walmart or Best Buy because they're all charging you more than what they paid.
Yeah. It's just like you said, the world revolves around buying and selling of items and goods and services and whatever, a billion different other things. And yeah, I don't know. Like for me, the whole situation on scalping has always been like, whatever. I don't necessarily operate in that scalping or whatever it might be. I don't operate in that.
But we have to go back to the word, right? You have to take all available product and then sell it to the same community for a markup.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's ticket and stocks. Hey, I'm gonna buy all the tickets from LeBron's last game, and then I'm gonna go out to the game and sell the tickets to the general public coming to the game. Mm-hmm. If I go to Walmart and I clear the shelf and no one's around buying anything, I didn't do anything. I bought inventory that I was legally allowed to buy. And then if you go on eBay and you post it on eBay, you're not scalping because you're not trying to sell it at a markup to the people at Walmart or within that community. So you have to go back to that. Like if you're taking it and then you're selling it on Facebook Marketplace, now you're affecting the community you just took it from. But if you're selling it on Whatnot or whatever, you're not even scalping. And then what's a markup? Like if I sell it for $1 more, am I scalping?
No.
So I think people just took the word, and anytime someone's in line, I'm like, you're making a video of someone in line buying Pokemon cards, calling them a scalper, but you're in the same line. So you're doing the same exact thing. And they're like, oh, I'm just going to buy one. I've never seen anybody take one item. They'll be like, oh, I grabbed one of each. But you complain about scalpers, but you're taking multiple products. Why not leave some for other people?
Yeah.
So everybody wants to complain about it, but no one wants to be the one to be like, you know what? I'll just give my stuff away at cost. Like it's not feasible because that's not how society is.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And I charge 5% to 10% max. So if I buy ETB for $55, I sell it for $65.
Yeah.
But people get mad. They're like, oh, you posted them and I commented first. And I was like, I don't owe you shit. Like just because you commented first, like I don't have no rules. I can sell this to whoever I want, how I want.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't like your attitude. I'm not selling it to you anymore. Here's a refund.
Yeah.
People just have a sense of entitlement.
Yeah. And it's definitely not, like you said, I feel like that does happen a lot here. And just in general now, like the people, like you said, have a sense of entitlement, have a sense of like, oh, it's mine, I deserved it, I earned it. You didn't really earn anything, Like you said, like you just commented something first, like at the end of the day, we're all the same. It's all, no one's entitled to anything. You make what you want of your life. And it's definitely, it's funny. Like you said, like you're in the video posting the same line. or you're in the same line posting the video, but then you're gonna hate on them when you're doing the same thing just to get clicks, like you said earlier, and views.
And then they'd be like, "Oh, well, I'm not buying out the whole." How do we know?
Yeah.
Like, you're in the line waiting to do the same exact thing.
Yeah, it's complicated and spiel. Like, yeah, like for example, I did a podcast with the shop, which still hasn't come out yet, but it's because of processing and like there's some stuff on the back end that mostly with just some stuff that I can talk about with that podcast. But like he told me, like one thing that he told me was like, oh, like all the people that scalp like just go to him and like offload a bunch of him. So technically, his shop could get flagged for scalping, even though when he's just buying it from scalpers or whatever it might be, the people that are buying the product from Walmart, and then like it's just this whole thing where people are just mad because they're not getting what they want, even though if they were given the situation, they'd be doing the same thing. So it's just like everyone's just angry for no reason type thing. And it's just like it makes no sense.
And that's my favorite video. And then I got time for like one more good question, but my favorite video was when those I don't even know their names. They did a prismatic video when the ETBs came out, and prismatic ETBs were like $100, and he made a video where like people were coming in for like Astro Radiance, and they're like, "Oh man, booster boxes are $100, man. Like that's market price." And then he's like, "Yeah, but MSRP is $140." And he's like, "But come on, man, market price." And so he would sell them, and then he did another booster box. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Yeah, market price is $100." He's like, "Okay, so let's play marketplace." He's like, "The MSRP is $60." And it's like, aha, so now you want to pay MSRP, but it's like people just want the cheapest deal. Like they don't care if it's MSRP or market price. It's like when Prismatic came out and they made that video, it literally was like, that's everybody. Like now everybody's like, oh man, I don't want to pay $140 for a booster box when they were just $100. But now we're complaining that, oh, we should charge MSRP if you're a store versus market price. And I don't like that some people built their thing. They're like, oh, I'm going to just sell at MSRP. Like you're doing that to try to fit this narrative of like, oh, I'm doing the right thing. And it's like, were you always doing that? Did you just do it to be like, oh, that's the person that sells at MSRP? And it's like, but are you, and I tell this to everybody, if you open a pack of Pokemon cards, you bought this for $5 and you're complaining about MSRP, why don't you sell the hit for $5? Mm-hmm. Why are you selling? So why once you open it, you're now selling it for market price? But you weren't selling the pack for market price, you're selling it for MSRP. So why the switch? Because there's more value in the hit than the pack. Mm. So I'd be like, sell all your hits. Oh, well, I didn't open these. Then it's like, if you're selling your sealed product at MSRP, then you should be selling your singles for the 80% that you paid. Mm-hmm. If you're saying, oh, I'm not making anything on this. Okay, why don't you do that for all your inventory? Because it's not realistic. Mm-hmm. It's like, and other people don't get that. They're like, oh, they're doing something nice. I was like, they're getting you to their table to buy something, and then you're going to buy something else. Mm-hmm. But then at the same time, you're giving that inventory to people that don't care. They're just, because the next person that offers MSRP, they're going to go buy from them as well.
Yeah. There's a guy that I watch a lot of Alpha Investments. I don't know if you know who he is, Rudy. He's really cool. Big sealed guy, owns a shop, whatever. And that's one of the things he talks about. It's like MSRP, and he gets a shirt every year, and I bought his shirt this year. It's funny. And it's like the catchphrase is, I bought this shirt at MSRP. And it's just like this whole big debacle. Just like people, like you said, are cheap and they want the cheapest product, and they want to make a profit if they're selling or whatever it might be. But yeah, it's crazy. You said you have time for one more question?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I will
whatever you want, as deep as you want to get.
I guess I'll just wrap it up with, like, out of all the time that you've been in the hobby, from 2016 from now, like what has been some of your favorite memory, or like what's been your favorite memory or favorite aspect of the hobby? And then if there's anything else you'd like to add, go for it.
I think my favorite thing is I met my wife at Collecticon. She was there with her sister, and she was actually helping her other friend run the store. And I met her there at Collecticon. And then we talked for a couple weeks, and then we ended up getting married like 3 weeks after we met. So, and yeah, we've been together like 8 months. We just bought our second house together. So that was like the craziest thing. Like, you know, you're not expecting it. And I think that's the essence of the whole hobby is like every day, every show, like what binder is going to walk in, what news coming in, what friend am I going to make, what deal am I going to get done? And it's like some people are so focused on the dollar amount and the status. Like I got to have a poncho, and it's like, man, just go with the flow. Everything will work out how it's supposed to be. Cause I wasn't going to the show like, oh man, I'm going to go find me a girl that's, you know, hanging out at the show, or she's working at the show. But it's nice to find someone in the space that likes the same thing as you. It's like if you play tennis and you meet your partner playing tennis, it's like you guys have that common interest. So I think that's been my favorite thing in the hobby, and that just correlates to like every time I go to a show, I always have a story of like something crazy that happened or a crazy deal that went down, and just all kinds of good stuff. And I don't care about a dollar. Like if I see a good collection, I'm like, hey, I'll pay $1,000, sell it to my friend for $1,100. He sells it for $1,500. To me, it's better to be a part of that story or that journey than just to be like, oh, cool, I'm going to try to maximize the dollar. Because all my friends, when I do that for them, they have always looked out for me. So like, if I'm like, oh, hey man, can I get this? They're like, take it. You can have it. So I think just being genuine is the best thing, and it's paid dividends in this community. And I got 1,000,001 stories, which we could do a part 2. And I got stories, and I'll have to send you some pictures so we could throw them in the thumbnails or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got some crazy stories like collection wise, deals, theft, just good times after the show during Collecticon and stuff. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. And for sure, I'd love to do a part 2. I think that'd be great. Free new podcast. Let's do it.
yeah.
Whatever works. Yeah, that's awesome. Well then, if there's anything else you'd like to add, feel free to add it. But where I guess my last question for you would be, where can people find you?
Pokemon Patrick on Instagram, PKMN_Patrick. It's awesome. The hardest. It's the hardest name. I don't understand it. Like it's like Pokemon abbreviated, but when you like tell it to someone, they're trying to type out Pokemon, and then you're like PKMN, and they just can't get the letters right. And so it's kind of weird, but yeah, PKMN_Patrick. There
you go. Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Patrick. And this was a great podcast. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to like, comment, follow, subscribe, do all those good things. Patrick will be at Houston Collecticon.
Yeah,
right?
I'll be at every Collecticon, and then I'll also be at the National. Yeah, so I'll be at all the shows.
So make sure to check them out. Say hi. What's up at Houston if you're in Houston, at the Zion booth. And our next show is in 2 weeks at Lighthouse. So we'll for sure be kicking it, ramping it back up for March. But thank you everyone for watching. And that has been the 58th episode of the PokéSells Official Podcast. See you guys.
All right, later.